Good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to a broadcast of the African Reform Movement channel. As always, I'm your host, Uche Noka, and it's Dr. Nee Amudaka, who's the president of the African Reform Movement channel, who will be speaking to us shortly. Dr. Nee is going to be joining us a bit later because he's attending to an emergency at the hospital, but he has sent something for us to listen to ahead of time. So if he doesn't arrive before I get through all of the things I normally do, then I'll play that for you. Okay? If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribes to the YouTube channel. I hope you're making use of that YouTube channel and forwarding the broadcast to your friends. We'd really, really appreciate that. That'd be an amazing way to get the word out there. We're 132 subscribers, which is really good, and we're really pleased with that. So thank you to everybody who subscribed. So if you are new here, Dr. Nee is on a number of platforms. He's on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'd suggest you to start with his website, sankofaafrica.com, because there are a lot more in-depth articles that you can take a look at and go through at your own leisure. Okay. Dr. Nee also has a bookstore. You've heard him speak about some of his books, The Fifth Republic, Weep Africa, and a lot of other works there, books that he's written. They can be purchased from his bookstore. So please take advantage of that. As I always say, all of this information is contained within the description box. So please make use of that. Don't worry if you don't get all these details down now. It's at the bottom of this particular broadcast. Okay? Right. So when Dr. Nee does join us, as I say, for those of you who just now joined, he's not going to join us straight away because he's got an emergency at the hospital which he needs to take care of. But the topic is going to be citizenship, common sense, customary law, and a crazy constitution. But he'll cover that when he arrives. So in the interim, he's left us a short audio clip, which he wants us to have a listen to. So please let me know in the comments if you can hear this. If you cannot hear it, let me know, okay? Let's turn this up. Let me know if you can hear this. For those of you who are logged on, hi there, Kenneth. Thank you, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Can you let me know if you can hear this recording? Oh, no audio. Oh dear. Let's see. Let me try again. Kevin, could you let me know? Could you hear that then, or could you still not hear it? There's 3 people online. If anybody is online, could you let me know if you could hear what it was I was playing just then? Okay, I'm not getting a response. Let me try this one. Let me know if you can hear this playing.
This is me, Amudaka, President of African Reform Movement International. I'm working today, so I'm trying to make this audio just in case I get called when I'm supposed to have a YouTube program from 11 o'clock Ghana time. I'm talking about the most important topic: citizenship, common sense, customary law, and a crazy constitution. things that we have taken for granted for years have now become an issue. To understand this topic very well, we have to start on the basics. And the basics is the definition of three often interchange words that they are not the same. One is nation, two is state, and three is country. Nation refers to a group of people with common ancestry, usually speaking same or similar language, and placed in one geographical location. Simply put, it refers to people. State is the political structure that these people put in place to govern itself. So, nation refers to people, state refers to a political system created by the people, and a country refers to where the people reside and where the state is operational. So they are not the same things. They are not the same things. Now, a nation or a person who belongs to a nation is a national, and that refers to nationality. And the person that belongs to a state is a citizen.
Oops, sorry. Okay, go on.
Is a citizen. Okay. So a national and a citizen are not exactly the same. All nationals are citizens, but in the modern state, not all citizens are nationals. So a Lebanese can come to Ghana, marry a Ghanaian, and become a Ghanaian by registration, or a Ghanaian by birth. A national is a citizen by birth. There are other citizens who are not by birth, they are by registration, whatever you want to call them. So a national cannot lose his nationality. A citizen can be deregistered. A national is a natural citizen. Is a national citizen of a country by birth. And other citizens they acquire citizenship of a country that is not their country of birth. And the country, like I said before, refers to the land. Okay. So, once you understand these basics, it becomes a lot easier what you are talking about. Then again, the Constitution also makes this distinction in terms of citizen by birth and other forms of citizenship. It goes to the point of saying that to be a president, you must not just be a citizen, but you must be a citizen by birth.
Right. 1 sec.
I must be a citizen by I must be a citizen by birth. And the Constitution defines it by birth as somebody who has at least one grandparent as a Ghanaian. All right, so that is sorted. This is a common sense platform. I mean, this is the basics. The next one is common sense. All right. Now, common common sense then will go on to try and define what makes you a Ghanaian. I'm a Ghan born in Osu. Ghana is part of Ghana. Therefore, I'm a Ghanaian because I'm a Ghan. You're a Ghanaian because you're an Asante. You're a Ghanaian because you're an Ewe. You're a Ghanaian because you're a Frafra. You're a Ghanaian because you're a Fati. You're a Ghanaian because you're a Dagongo. It's as simple as that. So I don't even, so as long as I remain a Ghan, as long as I remain an Asante, as long as I remain an Achem, as long as I remain an Ewe, as long as I remain a Frafra, as long as I remain a Wala, as long as I remain a Fanti, I'm a Ghanaian. Now, you cannot take my Ghanaianness away. If you cannot take my Ghanaianness away, my Fantiness away, my Evaness away, or whatever away, it's a common sense. That it looks like it's not common to a lot of people. Fundamentally, I don't even know how to talk about this. Because you see, people think that citizenship has got to be passport. No. My grandmother never held any document in her hand that suggested that she was Ghanaian. Because according to the Supreme Court, your birth certificate has nothing to do with your nationality. And there are many people, my grandmother generation who never even saw a birth certificate. Our first parent even didn't have a birth certificate. He didn't know when he was born. I'm talking of Kwame Nkrumah. Now, he became our president. He never had any document to say that he was born on this day or that day. That's what he wrote in his own book, autobiography. But we know that he was an Nzema, and he was Ghanaian because he's an Nzema. It's as simple as that. Very, very simple. But this is very hard for some others. When Nkrumah was overthrown, he was made a co-president by Guinea. Didn't have to change his Nzemaness. Didn't have to change anything because nobody can change that. They made no request of him to denounce anything. But once he was co-president of Ghana, he was still working to come back to Ghana to lead Ghana again. So we don't know what you're talking about, do we? Citizenship by birth cannot be changed. Full stop. So where does customary law come in? It reinforces common sense. Let me give you one simple example. Among the Ghana people, when you are born, exactly when you are born, you are outdoored. And when you are outdoored, and when you are outdoored, you are formally welcome into the family, into the clan, into the ethnic group. You are blessed, your parents are blessed, your family members are blessed for them to be able to look after you, to become a responsible national. That you must come and add to what you came to meet. And that is our ceremony. That's they call it citizenship ceremony in Australia or whatever. In Ghana, that's our ceremony. You are welcome to be part of the family. To the extent that if a child dies before this 1 week, that child is considered not to have been born. So that in a Ghana system, for instance, my first daughter is called Nadensua. If I have a second daughter, she will be called Nadodua. if Nadenswa dies before 1 week and I have a second daughter, I'll give her the name Nadenswa because the first one is considered to have been born. But if Nadenswa lives beyond 1 week and she officially gets the name Nadenswa, if she dies, the second daughter will be called Nadodwa. Daughter will be called Nadodwa because Nadenswa actually lived. That's how serious and that's how important it is. I don't know what happens with other ethnic groups, but I'm sure they have similar practices. We have our own induction into the family practice, and this confirms common sense. That's customary law. What it means is this: whatever I'm allowed to inherit in that family cannot be changed by anything. Whether I come to Australia or I go to US or I go to Britain and I get the name of that place. It doesn't matter because this is what matters. My parents are from this house is part of this family is part of this ethnic group. I'm a member of that ethnic group, full stop. Can another set of Ghanaians sit somewhere and decide that because of this and that, I'm no longer a member of my family? How can they do that? So if they cannot do that, how can they say something as stupid as what we'll read shortly from the Constitution of Ghana? I mean, if they really cannot say that what is the basis of what the 1992 Constitution Article 81 says? But before we go there, let me just give one simple example. In 1952, when Weizmann, the president of Israel, died, David Ben-Gurion, the prime minister of Israel, recommended Albert Einstein to become the president of Israel. As you know, Einstein was a Jew. We had not even set his foot on Israel before. He didn't have Israeli passport. He didn't have Israeli citizenship. He didn't have anything. But he was a Jew. And from the consciousness of Ben-Gurion, that was enough. He wasn't born in Israel. He never lived in Israel before. But he was a Jew. Because his Jewness or his Jewishness has nothing to do with where he was born, where he has lived, where he works, or which national citizenship or which passport he holds. His Jewishness has everything to do with the fact that he was Jewish by birth. Today, when you go to Israel, you have the Falasha Jews there from Ethiopia. When Israel decided to bring them to Israel as we speak today, they were not required to denounce anything. They've not been monitored before, and they were Jewish by birth. Because nationality is 10 times deeper than ordinary citizenship. Nationality is by birth. It's not acquired. Citizenship is legal, given by a state. Nationality trumps citizenship in every area. Einstein declined the offer because, according to him, he's dealt with objective things his whole life and he's not a good manager of people. So he knew he was going to fail. And he said it was very, very hard for him because he loved his Jewish people and he loved his Jewish nation. You all can Google this and read for yourself. This is people with the right consciousness. These are people who understand nation building. Whilst Israel was chasing Einstein and chasing every single Jew to come back to the motherland, Ghana is doing everything possible to put Ghanaians who were born, school, everything in Ghana who have gone outside. And for many, many different reasons, have acquired citizenship of their new homes. Ghanaians are trying very hard to push them away so that there will be less competition for them in Ghana. What have they done so far? They have shown complete cluelessness as how to manage the country called Ghana. They've had single citizens, whatever they want to call themselves. And where are we now today? Where are we now today? A disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Now, so now let's go to the crazy constitution. The original constitution of 1992, Article 8.1, it's what it says. Subject to this article, a citizen of Ghana shall cease forthwith be a citizen of Ghana if, on attaining the age of 21 years, he, by a voluntary act, or than married, acquired or retained the citizenship of a country other than Ghana. A voluntary act to acquire a citizenship of another country automatically ends your nationality of Ghana. This is insane. How do you compare acquiring citizenship of Ghana, acquiring citizenship of a different country, to being a national of Ghana? Where is the similarity? You're a Ghanaian by birth. You are a Ghana. What they are technically saying is that if you become an American citizen, then you are no longer a Ghanaian. Because as long as you're a Ghanaian, you're a Ghanaian. You see how the Constitution defies common sense. For a group of Ghanaians to sit down to make such a law tells you there's something fundamentally wrong with the elite, political elite, or whatever, or intellectual elite, whatever elite of Ghana. They are saying that if you become a British citizen, you are no longer an Asante. Well, as long as you're an Asante, you're a Ghanaian. And they are saying that if you voluntarily, as if you acquire citizenship involuntarily, you acquire citizenship voluntarily. But what has that got to do with your place on earth? How can becoming a British citizen nullifies your being an Asante, your being an Eben, your being a Ghana? You see, we have a problem. Let me tell you something. There's a book written by Reverend C.C. Randolph, The History of Locals in Asante. I think published in 1895 or thereabout. In the book, he said he interviewed so many people in order to get the history and the facts right. He interviewed so many people in order to get the history and the facts right. There's a book written by Dr. Kubo, he's a white man. I think it's the English Dictionary. He said I think interviewed over 200 Ghana elders. All the nuances and everything were before he published the book. Now, what I want to ask those who drive a constitution is that how many Ghanaian elders of the various ethnic groups did they interview to understand the Ghanaian concept of citizenship? Did they interview any Ashanti historian who understands Ashanti citizenship, or Ghana, or Ede, or Dagomba, or Fanti? But did they come out with, okay, this is the way our various groups see citizenship? How do we bring them together, give a uniform understanding of citizenship in our country so there will be no conflict like we are having today? They didn't do that. They just went somewhere, copy and paste. How do you compare citizenship of Ghana to that of Australia or that of United States, which are immigrant nations, whereas Ghana is an ethnic nation? Where is the common sense? What you are dealing with, brothers and sisters, is massive, massive intellectual failure. I just want to end here because I don't want to take too much of our time. If we get time, and we'll talk about this again, I'm going to run this basically what I'm trying to tell you. The constitution of Ghana must go. If any group of Ghanaians can sit down and come up with such a constitution, then you know that the whole idea, the whole consciousness and the constitution is very dark.
Okay, everyone. I do apologise if the sound dips in and out. But yeah, that's what Dr. Nee has to say with regards to this topic today. For those of you who are listening, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? Have you experienced, I mean, I don't know if any of you have been in a situation where you've taken up citizenship elsewhere. What has your experience been? Have you experienced any of the things that Dr. Nee was speaking about? Please drop us a comment. We'll really appreciate that. If there are any questions you have for Dr. Nee based upon what it is you've heard, please also post them in the chat now. For me, I wasn't aware that if you took up citizenship elsewhere, that you would no longer be classed as a Ghanaian citizen. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware. That's quite surprising for me. This is the first time I've heard of that. I don't know if any other countries do that, but I wasn't aware of that for Ghana at all. I know that in certain countries, I think it's tends to be Western countries, specifically speaking of like America and the UK. If you if you do take up citizenship in another country, if you want to retain citizenship of your homeland, you have to visit every once in a while to still make sure that you can be classed as a citizen of the UK or of America. You don't automatically lose it simply because you've taken up another citizenship elsewhere. It's quite interesting. I didn't realize that. So any questions from what you heard? Any questions, any thoughts, any things that when Dr. Nee comes on, you'll be able to ask them to him rather? Just check and see. What should I do? I'll see if I can check and see if Dr. Nee's nearby. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, Shika says, the issue is related to a stipulation in the Constitution that says if you're a citizen elsewhere, you are still Ghanaian, but you cannot run for political office, especially for president, MP, etc. Okay. 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 Yeah, I think that as you've written it there, I think that's pretty much standard here as well. I think that's standard here and in the UK as well. I mean, US as well, I believe. Does anybody have anything to add to what Sheikah said or any other comments to what Sheikah said? I'll just leave it up there for now so you can see it. Hmm. So Shika, just to ask your question. So let's just say you all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but let's just say you've lived in another country or a citizen in that country, but now you want to return home to Ghana. Would you still not be able to run for political office in that scenario? Any comments, Kenneth? Any comments, Matthias? Don't want to put you on the spot, but you know, come with some good questions. Just if there's anything you want to add or any questions you'd like to ask. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So needs commonsensical approach, challenging that provision in the Constitution. Okay. Okay. Right. So that's so what you've read is how the Constitution stands now, but he's challenging that. Okay, I understand. Mhm. Right. Yeah. I thought. Oh, yeah. This is what I thought. You can return. You just have to renounce and give up other citizenship. And if you have given up other citizenship, can you now run for office in your own country if you so desire? All right. I know we got Ian. Okay. Okay. But yeah, even as Dr. Nees, how he started the conversation, it doesn't make sense because it's in your blood. It's who you are. It's your DNA. Do you know what I mean? It's your if you're a Gar or Ever or wherever you are from in that country, that doesn't change when you move around the globe. It doesn't change at all. Yes. Could you just explain that a bit more for us, please, Matthias? Which comment is it you're responding to? But thank you for commenting. Just like clarify that bit for us, please. That'd be great. Thank you. Okay. But it is to me just a very strange way of thinking. Like you can move around the globe, but simply because you've now taken citizenship elsewhere, you haven't renounced Ghana. You're just living in another country. Typically, it's for economical reasons, for educational reasons. I can't see what that would mean. You're no longer Ghanaian because clearly you are. So that's an interesting one. Okay, okay, okay. I get it. Right, you need to provide supporting documents to indicate you've renounced your citizenship elsewhere. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Matthias, for that. Okay, cool. Okay, I've messaged Dr. Nee. I haven't heard from him yet. So maybe just give it like another few moments. And if there are any questions you want to ask, any questions to ask Dr. Nee, any comments, any thoughts, what are your own personal thoughts on the Constitution? Have you read the Constitution? And what are your thoughts on it? What other sticking points do you have with regards to the Constitution? Apart from what Dr. Nee said, are there any other points that you think are problematic? Yeah. Kenneth says, the Ghanaian constitution is flawed in many ways and it requires a total revamp. That seems to be the general consensus, Kenneth. I'm hearing that quite a lot. Yeah, yeah. From your perspective, is there anything in particular that stands out as being flawed, or is it just too many to mention? Is there any particular thing that you think this particular is a really, really bad point that needs to change this? Or is it just everything? Thank you for commenting, Kenneth. As Dr. Nee said, I think at the very, very beginning of us doing this broadcast, I was asking him how simple is it to change the constitution. Apparently, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. I thought it's something that's set in stone, so it'd take such a long time to rewrite it and revamp it and so forth. But apparently, it isn't as difficult as people make out that it is. He actually renounced run one, and later the ruling party penalised him over technicality. They said that Canadians had not yet granted permission to revoke citizenship at the time. He said the Canadians had not yet granted permission to revoke citizenship at the time he submitted his candidacy. I'm sorry, Shika, who's this we're speaking about? He actually renounced run one, and later the ruling party penalised him over technicality. Okay. Let's see. Okay, still no word from Dr. Nee. So I'm thinking he might be held up. Okay, right, that's fine. I just had a message from Dr. Nee said no, he can't join us now. Yeah, it's a lot more involved than he was hoping for. So unfortunately, Dr. Nee is not going to be able to join us today. But thank you so much for those of you who joined us. Let me just see. Oh, thank you, Shika. Sorry, I didn't see this part here. Thank you. You said that scenario played out and was used recently against one of the MPs in Ghana. Okay. He was Canadian and he renounced that citizenship and came to run office. Okay. So I didn't see that. Okay. Thank you. That makes sense then. Okay. So everybody, unfortunately, Dr. Nee has been held up indefinitely, and he's unfortunately not going to be able to join us. He gives his sincere apologies. He really did try everything he could to be here with us today, but unfortunately, he just couldn't do it. Duty calls first, unfortunately, so he had to into that. But he does give his very sincere apologies. He really did want to cover this with us today. So thank you for joining us. We've cut it short because obviously I don't have the expertise and the insight and depth that Dr. Nee had to be able to do this broadcast on this particular topic. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for those of you who joined us with the comments. Kenneth, Matthias, and Shika, as always, thank you so much. We're going to have to call it a day. Please enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Don't forget to tell all your friends and family about the African Reform Movement channel. Let them check out the website. Let them check out Dr. Nee on social media platforms. And also let them know to join us on Saturday mornings. Join us, and when you hear the conversation, please don't feel embarrassed to submit questions. Tell your family and friends, submit the questions, because Dr. Nee wants to be able to have that conversation and dialogue with the people who these things affect. Yeah, so no questions are silly question. Just please answer your question, ask the questions, and everything will be fine. So, okay, that's me done. That's it done for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Same time, same place next week. Take care then. Bye-bye.